There's thumb drives up here. I was too lazy to put the files on them. But if you want one, you can come get a thumb drive, and I'll put them on later. They're just the files for the Bachelor of Python course. Yes, you get them both. No, I don't care. I have candy. If anybody ever needs candy, these are really good. They're mint Hershey Kisses. Amazing. You want one?
I would love one.
This is an intro course. It's listed for 4 hours. That's insane. I'm not doing that. Anybody else? Candy? No?
Pass me some ballistic.
Okay. Got my eye on you.
Yeah.
That poor girl right there, she didn't. Oh, shut up. I almost winged her with a candy earlier.
Does
It doesn't yet, but it can.
Alright.
You have to see me afterwards, because I can't do that now.
Okay, cool.
Also, for showing up, I hand 3D printed these little Python badge thingies.
Did you like 3D printed with your hand?
Hand 3D printed. You want one?
In the old days, we called that whittling.
Shut up, you. Nobody whittles plastic. I'm just going to pass them around. You want one? Take one. If not, don't. I will say that I tried to make a candle snowman mold for the candle. I was drilling through it, and you got to watch where those bits go because I got myself. Oh, those were hand painted by a depressed 39-year-old in my house.
And you did a good job.
I did a good job. And just some credit where credit is due. I was practicing my slide deck on my TV. Some of y'all heard this story. But my wife looks up and goes, "Your grammar's atrocious." And I said, "Fine, well you fix it." Chucked her the laptop, and she did. Sucker. That's me. Also, she had bits of humor, of what I'd call humor, what she calls humor. And I didn't catch one. She's like, "You didn't catch it." And I go, "I thought I wrote that." And that's scary. Okay. Does anybody care about me personally? Anybody? Move it. Y'all do not. Liar! Alright. Anyone date? Date? Yeah. Cal? No. Nothing? No?
Not interested.
Whatever. Okay, the horse head first. That's creepy. This is a furry-free convention. Not furry-friendly. That's free. No free furries either. Oh, whatever. Python.
Just all snakes, penguins.
So, I wrote this to be hands-on. I would like if you try to keep up, if you want to, and if not, I can't force you. Benny specifically told me I can't, make people do things. It's pretty agnostic. It's mostly the concepts. I'm going to try not to move around a lot. Windows or Linux, the concepts are pretty agnostic. The examples are not. I wrote this in Python 2 last year, and then because I'm running this off of my Chromebook, I had to rewrite it in Python 3. And then because I went to update the Bash course afterwards, I installed Nmap and installed Python 2, and I'm like, "Oh, this is crap," and then I had to go ahead. Still Python 3 is the end of this story. There are projects to do along the way. If you have questions, please ask. It doesn't mean I'm going to know. But that's what the Google's for. Stack Overflow, kids. Your friend. Python is an interpreted language. There's a compiler. It does compile down and will store it as Python C, .pyc files. If you ever are running a Python script and you change something, and you know you changed something, but it didn't check to make sure there's not a Python pyc file in there, it's happened to me a lot. Eating somebody else's stuff, not my stuff. It's cross-platform. There are different libraries available for different platforms. There are literally a metric butt ton of libraries. If you want to parse XML, there's about 20 XML parsing libraries. I don't entirely know why. Somebody felt something needed done. Just find one, learn it, make your life easier. But it is less work. Files usually end in .py. Alright, so be ready for the magic? Have you seen that cartoon before? I don't know who wrote it, but I stole it. And it's not entirely accurate, but it's pretty close. Alright, for a couple pieces of candy, what's Python named after? Who knows?
Snake. Monty Python.
Monty Python.
You're right! It's named after Monty Python, the show. Sorry. Man, I'm just all over the place. Now she's still scared of me. I see her. Alright. Now that's an easy one. How about this? What happens when you type import this into the interpreter? Anybody know?
Get the Zen of Python.
Wow!
Oh, this
That's awesome!
This is gonna be good.
That baseball scholarship surely showed. No, I don't do sports ball.
I bumped it in the air.
You get this really cool Python. I had no idea this existed until I was looking up trivia about it. Go ahead, go to the interpreter, type Python, do import this. I called BS at first, and then I actually went out and did this, and I'm like, huh. I do. I'm not a big poetry buff, but I will say that any poem that includes the phrases "something are honking great," that's amazing. Structure, input, output, variables. Why they're a pain in the butt a lot of times. Conditionals. My wife added this line, and I didn't know she added it, and I thought I added it, but I didn't remember adding it. That's how bad my memory is. Looping, files, XML, APIs, and some math. Benny made me. You blame Benny. So as I said, it's an interpreted language, just like Bash. It's not like Python's a shell, but you can pull it up and do Pythoning. Using the Python. Oh, yeah. Now would have been a good time for me to have had, like, the shell scripting window open. Look at all those scripts. Many people have problems getting out of VI. I have problems getting out of Python because I want to do this. And it tells me, no, that's not it. It's a function. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm going to improve it. I'm going to include this because every time I go into the interpreter, I get stuck and I'm going, so going back in. Oh, I could have probably done that live. Yes, sir.
You don't have to print it. If you just say X.
I know. Kind of. Oh. The variable pain in the ass in this I was talking about comes because you actually don't have to type things. You have to type. you don't have to tell it, like in Bash, hey, this is an int. Hey, this is a string. I took X and made it 3. I took X and made it DDD. Until you go and use it. And it'll tell you where you can stick your idea about addition, subtraction, or math, or concatenation. If it's something that will bite, if you're like me, A, I'm sorry, B, something that will bite you in the butt is the fact that you're going to go try to perform an operation on a string, and it's an integer, and it tells you, I'm sorry, I can't do it. Or vice versa. So most of my life is spent converting things from different types of things. Oh, horrible. Okay. This is just me typing. I don't know why. I think that was in case it didn't work. Python is white space limited for the most part. It enforces indents, but has colons on the conditionals and the loops. People say it's only white space limited, it irritates me. So it's mostly white space limited. We still have the shebang line, like in any other scripting. User bin Python, user bin Python 3. The octothor, which is what that's called. Before it was a pound sign or a hashtag. It's an octothor. Denotes a comment. For the love of God, please comment your scripts. If you do anything else, please comment your scripts. Okay, let's make one. Very similar to Bash, except we're going to start with Hello World. So I had them get me a calzone for lunch, and it's sitting up here just smelling amazing. It looks amazing too. It's pretty. Shebang line tells it what to run. Comments, prints text to the screen. There's another way to do commenting. It's triple single ticks. We'll get to it later. It just does multi-line commenting. You could just continue to do this if you want. Print. Hello world. Okay. Anybody confused? Questions? Comments? Things to throw?
No throw, please.
What's that? No throw. Variables in Python are basically memory containers. They're dynamically and weakly typed. As we saw, you could make it integer, float. You don't declare it. If you're into Eastern, think of Tulpa from Eastern philosophy, or a boggart for your Harry Potter weenies. You reassign it, it changes the type. Strings need to be surrounded by quotes. Is anybody else disturbed by the up-down movement of the HVAC? Anybody? Oh, can't even see it back there, can you?
Oh, now that I look at it, I can't.
Yeah, you're welcome. You can use either kinds. Use the escape character. Thank you, whoever pointed out last time. To remind me what it was called. To escape out special characters like quotation marks. In general, to save your sanity, I just suggest avoiding them if you can. It just makes life easier. There are numbers, strings, and booleans, kind of. There's true and false. There are lists, tuples, and dictionaries. So just like the associative array, in Python is a dictionary. That's what it's called. Same concept, same thing. An immutable word list collection of other types basically is a tuple. So my tuple brings all the boys to the yard. The jokes don't get any better, so if you're not laughing now. Yeah, I went boring on the my list ABC. It's kind of going for that Jackson 5 thing. But yeah. So is wrong. I'm 39 now, which means I did this course last year. But we can change it. There we are. Muy bueno. Shebang. Comment. My name. You could put your name there. That would probably go better. And your age. Right. Hello. %S is called a format string. Dr. Phil Postra, I hope I'm saying that right, is giving a talk sometime, not now, on format string and buffer overflows, and I hope to God it's recorded because I'd like to be able to sit in it, but I have other things to do. I would check it out if you're interested in exploitation. Hint, hint, hint. You are %D, integer, years old. You can't see that, but it's a % sign. And then the variables that are going to be associated in the order they are: string, integer, name, age, and then parentheses. All right, you ready for the magic? Oh. Alright, so in 2.7, so let's get used raw input to get stuff from the command line or from the user. In Python 3, you can just use input. It's basically the same function. You do need to import sys, which is short for system. It's just some system level stuff to read and write. And you do that by very cleverly going import sys at the top of the file. Like this. Person equals input. Give a prompt. So that means that the variable person will now be filled in with whatever you type. Age equals int. Input, enter your age. If you don't convert it to an int, it will treat it as a string. You could fix this by just changing this to an S and outputting whatever. That kind of defeats the point of me telling you about types. So, I'm going to convert it from string to an integer. Let's go to the film.
Where are you using sys as your
For input.
You don't need to, do you need to?
I think so. You know?
Yeah. Because if you were using it anyway, you'd have to say sys dot input.
I think so. You can. Oh, cool. Oh. Maybe that's Python did that. I needed it for the input at some point. Yeah.
Another thing is for your formatting, in the statement, you can use dot format like as a function call.
Yeah.
And then it doesn't care about types.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you
I
don't
didn't
have
know
to put %s, you just replace it with the curly brackets, empty curly brackets.
Cool.
Or you can number it.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
The more you know. Yeah, and that's the other thing. There are literally tons of ways to do this. We are taking input and putting it on the screen. How you do it doesn't matter. As long as it does what you want to do at the end. Now, we saw the problem where I put, that's fine. I don't have any, I mean literally no, error checking. It's a simple script. I should not screw this up. If you go on to do better Python-y things, put error checking in your code. And we'll go over some of it later, but the more you handle for crappy conditions, the better your life will be, in general. That's it. Lots of ways to do things. Looping. Okay, two main ways. Right. For loops, while loops. This is going to do a set, a given set. So go through everything in this list. For max, go from 1 to 10. Print all the variables. Do something. Or it's going to go until a condition is met. X is less than 10, or not met, in this case. Loop until the condition is met. So, do we need that? Probably not. Maybe. No, we'll give it a whack with that. Print 10, print X. Who are these guys? Oh, come on. For name in Beatles, print name, print Beatles. X10, just loop backwards. If I was smarter, I call this loopy. Yep. Shut up. Oh, that's right off the screen. The one nice thing I think is nice about Python is if you tell it to print, odds are good, in any format, it's going to put something on the screen. For the most part. Sometimes that something is the memory address, and that's not helpful. But in this case, I told it to just print the list. Just print Beatles, and an output in that format. So A, I know that's a list, and B, it's populated with all those Beatles. Wait, he's dead. Is Ringo dead?
Ringo, I think, is the only one still alive.
Also,
No. John's dead. George Harrison?
Yeah, John too, I think.
Oh, I've got depressing quick. And I lost my cursor. Alright, for fabulous prizes. In 2016, the December NSA, yes, those cryptographic wizards, released this puzzle. RATS times 4 equals STAR. Why don't you guys go ahead and solve that with Python? Well, stop staring at me. Come on, type. Fabulous prizes, guys. It's totally not candy. It's candy. R can't equal 0. That's just cheap. Did anybody try it? Anyone?
I don't completely understand it.
Ah.
What is that?
So, this is a number.
Okay.
1 through 9. 0 through 9. 0 through 9. 0 through 9. And 4 is equal to this, that. You guys want to walk through how I did it? Does that make it better? Instead of, okay. So anybody want any candy as a fabulous prize? Okay, I can throw it, but, well, we'll see how this works. Ooh. You tried it? So I just did brute force. For R in range, 1 to 10, because I can't be a 0. For A in range, 0 to 10. T in range, S in range. Then I cleverly named the variable RATS equals R times 1,000 plus A times 100 plus 10, you know, the math. And then did it for STAR. If rats times 4 is equal to star, then print it out. Full disclosure, I did this in batch 2. And it took about 10 to 15 times longer to complete. Oh yeah. And by 15 times longer, look, I'm pretty sure I went, got a cup of coffee, and came back, and it was still running.
Gotta stop doing that.
So does everybody understand what? So if it's equal to, the answer is R, integer, A integer, T integer, RATS at the end. This is how they teach my kid math, sort of. I don't do it, because I don't have that kind of patience. I can never be a teacher, which is ironic, given what I'm doing now. Okay. Who's ever worked with an API? Anybody? Python?
Python and C#.
C#? What do y'all call it?
Python, Golang, and stuff.
Okay. There's a cool, free, you don't need a key, API called Sunrise Sunset. And it'll tell you the sunrise and sunset of a location, longitude and latitude for today. It returns a JSON, which stands for JavaScript Object Notation, or JavaScript Serialized Object Notation. It's a really handy way of transmitting data over the web. It's for machines, but it's really easy to read. And this is very common. There are a lot of APIs out there. If you start going to the cloud, a lot of the stuff you're going to be doing is working with APIs to control machines. You're welcome. There's a difference between SOAP and REST, and I'm not going to cover it. There's different protocols. For the most part, they are a lot of times are regular web calls. As I said, they should return more machine-friendly data. That looks like this if it's formatted. So you send it in, the results, sunrise, sunset, solar noon, day length, civil twilight. I don't even know what that is. Nautical. Okay. A lot of stuff that we don't need, and a status.
Jeez.
Oh, come on, that's good.
That is good.
Some of the best material. It's probably was not popular in college or high school and elementary school. So, but if we go back and take this, it pulls back and returns and looks like that. Well, that's great if we ever want to just type that out into the thing or go to Google Maps and pull our, not long, but let's parse some JSON. I will say that an IDE does make this a lot easier because many times you don't know the structure, even after you pull it. It's just a pain in the butt because with JSON you can be multi-layers deep depending on the structure you're pulling back. And for me, an IDE makes this way easier so I can pause it right there and look and find what I'm looking for and then pull it out. I think I wrote this in VI and cursed it numerous times. So let's do it. We're going to take that. I kind of probably where these fives are. Just going to put lat longs. Use the read the input statement earlier and get that from the user. Sometimes things go wrong because, well, that's how life works. Try, catch, accept, and a nice way to fail or fix it. I don't care. Either way, you don't want to just output some crap to the screen for the user, even if you're the user. So, import JSON. Probably don't, maybe it says I don't know. URL lib request. Set this as just a string. Try response is going to call out to that request read it back in, and print it. If that doesn't work, it's going to do the exceptionally well-handled error handling of something bad happened and then dump it to the screen. Let's give it a whack. All right. I haven't done it yet. Beautiful. Tells me it's binary. It says the status is okay. It says sunrise is at 12:20 p.m. Sun sets at 10 p.m. It looks a little off. I think if anybody wants to visit, that's my house. I don't know. I don't remember. But if you show up, I'll make coffee. I do not live in Point Barrow. My sunrise is not at 12 p.m. My sunset is definitely not 10 p.m. It gets darker. Losers. Sorry. Friends. Sunset is definitely not 10 p.m. It gets dark in my house like 4:30 or 5 o'clock now. Which might as well be midnight, I guess. Whatever. Yeah. So, let's throw in time zone. We're going to, once again, call out. We're going to read the input from the user this time. Build the response. Print something bad happened, and then exit. Make sure that the status that came back was okay by parsing it into this status. We'll go through it in a second better. Print out that if it's not okay, it apparently didn't work, and then exit. Pull the results. Format it. So instead of doing the math yet, we're just going to say that UTC. UTC, Greenwich Mean Time, middle of my sunrise, according to the Brits, is midnight. 1 o'clock, somewhere. No, 1 o'clock. So let's run that. Oh. Oh, please, for station identification. Okay. Sunrise for the coordinates was, and that's still complete BS. Let's go back and look at what we did, other than finding our cursor. Actually, I think I went through it. So when we ran it in the browser, we saw the JSON coming back. We can lovingly just throw that into JSON load response data. I know it came back in UTF-8. So I put that into a variable called time data, which basically stores it as an associative array, a dictionary. Data equals time data, just because I wanted to change it. pull out, look up in the associated array status, put it into the variable status. If status is not equal OK, colon, print, API didn't work, get out. If it did work, then we're passed here, pull out results, results equals sunrise, sunset equals results equals sunset, and print it to the screen. And that's what it did. UTC for the coordinates was 1208 to 107. Showing that my sunrise is at noon is not useful to me. So we're going to throw in there some time zone data. Makes it easier for jerks like us to convert UTC to wherever we are. And we just keep adding from date until import time zone, or TZ. Everything's the same to here. We're going to set the from time zone to UTC, the to zone to local, which is Eastern Standard Time, in case anybody's confused. Tell it it's a string in this format. Go from to. Do the same with the sunset time. And then print that to the screen. So that looks a little better. 7:20 in the morning and 17. Oh, my local time I keep in military time. Sorry. In case anybody's confused, that's 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Nobody really cares what time the sun rises and sets. Okay, some people, but not most people, really care what time the sun rises and sets. This is kind of just an example to show you how to pull data from an API. Census Bureau has a really good API set in case you're curious about census data. Amazon, the cloud uses APIs. Writing scripts to control things is going to make your life a lot easier in many instances. This isn't very hackery. I mean, it's nice to know the sun will be going down at about 7:15 hour. It feels like 4:30, but that's anyway. So we did it. We reached out, we grabbed a RESTful web service, we retrieved the data, we parsed the data, transformed it into something useful for us, and displayed it to a user. Yay, scripting! So let's set up a crappy poker game. Because if it's anything that West Virginia needs, it's more gambling establishments. And Dollar General. There's Dollar Generals on every street corner. If you don't believe it, just drive around. So we're going to go from 2 through 10. Jack, Queen, King, Ace. We're not going to add suits. We can add it later if you really want to. If you're building your own poker game at home, you obviously have some time to kill because there are literally tons of them better done. Or you're trying to learn something, say randomization and classes. We want to deal, print, and score, and that's it. Let's get to it. And for this, we're going to use a class called Poker. Yeah, real imaginative, I know. We're going to 1 through 6, random int, 0 through 12. This will make sense when we get there. And then we're just going to put that into our hand. And then we're going to have the ability to print the hand. That's how lazy I am because printing's... Alright. So we're going to define 2 through those. It's just a big list. You can reference each of them. Card 0 is 2. Card 6, 8. Okay, see where this is? It's just the location in that list. We're going to set up an empty list called hand. I don't know. I think my wife did that. I probably should take a screenshot, but whatever. 1 through 6, index, random, 0 through 12. I'm going to pull them out of there, self-hand append, and we're going to make an entire hand of 5 cards. Literally, that's it. Then we're going to score them. So, set up these variables. There is probably a way better way to do this. I'm sure there's probably even import poker, if I had to guess. Pair 1, if score is equal to 2, if this. Giant big else statement, and if nothing, you're screwed. If you play poker, you're probably screwed anyway, but whatever. So, we're going to call it, we're going to set the class, get the cards, print the cards, and we're going to put something cheesy on there. So, I got a 4, an ace, an 8, a 7, and a 4. I got 1 pair. Woo! I don't do discards. Literally, this is it. Playing the hand I have dealt, I got 1 pair. Let me do it again. Playing the hand I was dealt, and all I got screwed. I would like to tell you that I don't spend an inordinate amount of time looking at this and going, hey, that's kind of funny. But I did. But I said, let's make it slightly better. Because it doesn't do straights, the card pretty could be easier. There's no reason to actually have a class in this case. And there's no discarding. And you know what? I didn't fix any of that. What I did was add an opponent. The whole point of doing a class is so that I can have multiple copies of it. I don't need to rerun the same thing again. I just reinstantiate another copy of the class. I changed the initialization. It's still not perfect. It's still only a model. I define the cards up top, just in the white, in the global space. Set up a class called poker. I say when you instantiate this class, set up a hand, make it blank. I changed the scorecards to return numbers of how well you did. It still doesn't do straights. It still just does pairs. It doesn't even do the logic to say a pair of aces competes a pair of queens. Yeah, I was feeling particularly lazy. But the important part is that I set up my hand, new class, get cards, my cards, set up the dealer's hands, get cards, dealer's cards. If the dealer's cards are better than my cards, the dealer won. Else, I won. Greater than or equal to. Sorry. You can continue to add to this. I would question your sanity in a level of free time, but you can. Oh, I added a frowny face. Sorry. Woohoo! I had a full house. Damn. He just had a pair. That's impressive. I'm sorry. To me, that's impressive.
By the program, you only get 2 pairs.
Well, I don't know. No, I think it would have done it. Hold on.
So you should add the score on those so that you'd be able to know by how much you think that you won.
That's not how poker works.
Programming's different, though.
I think
You could fix it.
I could. That's it. See, I had it here.
Just right.
Ow, yeah. If pair and 3 equals 1, full house.
You get the joke, right?
The point of using the class was so that I could set it up multiple times. No, it is not perfect. No, is it going to win? This isn't going to win you any programming competitions. In fact, this course definitely isn't going to. For what we're going to do last, on the thumb drive, who here's used Kismet? Any before Kismet? Kismet. What's it do, Cal?
It scrapes wireless decaf.
So, yeah, Kismet's a program that sets the card in monitor mode, jumps around on the frequencies, and pulls data off wirelessly. Back when everyone had a lot of more unencrypted networks, you could find a lot more interesting data. Now you can still find interesting data, but it's not as cool. It used to be fun pulling SQL straight out of the wireless. That was a good time. So, there's a wireless XML file on the thumb drive. We're going to go through, find all the access points, their MAC addresses, their peak lat and long, and their first lat and long, and then find out when sunrise. No. Parse the data and find the distance between them, which is theoretically how far you can kind of hit that. Theoretically. Ish. Alright. So, if anybody's not familiar, this is XML. This is the XML that comes with the old version of Kismet. I haven't looked at it lately, mostly because, as I said, my children broke my laptop's USB port, so I can't really sniff too much traffic with the USB wireless dongle anymore. I'm hoping that after Christmas that gets rectified, but we'll see. It produces a lot of information, rate, how it's encrypted. If you have a GPS module, it will pull out, and not on this example, it will pull out the lat long location of different features of that access point. So we're going to need some supplies. Try this wrong. I'm going to use LXML for parsing XML. We're going to do a bunch of math. I already did it. And you can trust me or look it up yourself. I don't care. But you people owe me for doing math. We want to make sure the data makes sense. If the data structure is something I'm going to use over and over, usually make a class if it makes sense. If the data is sensible and structured in a good way. We're going to pull out the BSS ID, which is the base station ID. That's just the MAC address of the base station. The extended station set identifier, which is just the name, whatever you call it. Comm Center 2, FBI surveillance van, whatever. Peak lat long, it's going to be 2 floats. Min lat long, 2 floats. And then we're going to do the math to work out how far apart they is. Create 2 functions off by themselves, calculate the distance. It could have been under the class, I didn't put it there. Could have stored the distance in the class and just populated that, but I didn't. This is the math to tell the distance between 2 points given the lat long. I did not know the radius of the Earth was 6,371 kilometers. I do now. I'm gonna kick ass at trivia this New Year's Eve. We're gonna pull out in radians the peak latitude, the peak longitude, the minimum latitude, the minimum longitude, and store them in these lovely lat 1, long 1, lat 2, long 2. As I said before, please be somebody else and name your variables better than I did. Yeah, man.
So is Kismet pulling that data, the latitude and longitude? Or is
Yeah,
it
here,
something you're just adding in?
It has the data in it, and I'll just show you.
You have to throw a GPS,
Module.
like
Yeah.
USB, onto it before it will. But a lot of times it'll start running or just know about it. It's kind of scary nowadays.
Yeah, the newer ones will pull from Wiggle, which is the wireless I something, G something, L something, E something. It's a online database of people who go war driving and then submit. Are you one of them? You submit?
Got over 100,000.
Nerd! Anyway,
Hey,
here's
we
the
find out how
wireless
many is
XML.
the other day.
If you look, this was just an ad hoc network it found. Didn't pull that. Pulled the frequencies, 802.11b. Yes, this is old. But you know what? They're still out there. I'm not going to lie. There's still 802.11b networks out there. Pulled the lat long, the minimum altitude. So these three things, and the speed. I don't think I was walking. The maximum and the peak. And then it averages them for you. And this is just the data that Kismet provides. Timestamp. It doesn't have a year on the timestamp. That's kind of weird. Oh, yeah. So I must have been running this last year. If you drive around Buchanan, where I'm from, and do war driving, I'm sure some of these will start looking familiar. I'm not saying you should do that. I'm just saying if you do that. I didn't do that. Somebody else did.
Bob.
Infrastructure, an access point of some kind. Made by these people. They pulled that from the BSS ID, which is the MAC address. Pulled these kind of packets. Signal, yeah. If you're into RF, that'll make sense. If you're not, then it doesn't matter. That's just peak noise, signal noise ratio readings, and then the GPS info that we're actually interested in. For this, in this case. It's a cake song, I mean, come on. Trying to fit everything for everybody. Set up the parser for the XML. Find all, everything labeled wireless network. For item in root element, once again, please rename your variables better than I did. Get type, if it's equal to infrastructure, we only want access points. We don't really care about ad hoc networks for this. We don't really care about clients. You could, but I don't. Get the peak latitude, which in the XML, the name, conveniently enough, peak-lat. Same for the peak longitude, minimum latitude, BSS ID, the extended set them all as floats. If it doesn't have one, we're going to call it cloaked and then throw the BSS ID on there. Or if not, we're just going to use what it has. And then throw it into our lovely up above defined array of networks. So, set up our array, call parse XML, throw what we want to throw it into, just going to send it back, go through it, do the distance calculation, print it out, and then we're done. So, somebody's DeskJet printer has as an access point. Does anybody know why you care about DeskJet printer? Because a lot of times they don't have very good security on them and they're really good access to the network. Yeah, you can connect to them and then either steal documents or hop, depending.
Or print things.
Or you could print things. I'm not
you
telling
can
you
get-
what to print, but use your imagination.
You can send print jobs.
For the longest time, and I don't know if this is still true, but
Actually,
not Frontier, but some ISPs would use the last 4 of the MAC address as the password for the wireless, which is not really secure because it's broadcasting.
is that changed on the printers though? Can you, if you attach to the Wi-Fi, do you then have access into the network?
Sometimes it depends how they wire them in.
Because I tried to make that work at home and it didn't work. So
I've
I might
seen-
have an older
I've
version.
seen people bridge across them before, but I don't know if it was just printer dependent.
I think it might be because I've tried
Yeah.
on some, or at least mine.
If anybody's curious, that's my church. Please don't drive by there. Local ISP, the Chamber of Commerce Wi-Fi. I don't know what men's speaker
Taco Bell?
is. Taco Bell Wi-Fi.
No, a lot of cars have them now too.
What's that?
Cars.
Oh yeah, I haven't done that.
A lot of them are.
So one of these names on here, I recognized from the LinkedIn dump earlier. So now I have a name, an email, and possibly a password. If I keep track of this stuff, it builds more of a tactical mindset. NSA restricted, Jenkins Ford customer Wi-Fi, these. Old data, still useful. Were you here at HackerCon 3? Anybody here at HackerCon 3? Dear God, I'm old. This is not the first realization time I've realized that, by the way, but it hurts every time. Tim Tomes released a tool called Pushpin at HackerCon 3, and what it did is it went out and crawled through social media and pulled all the pictures, and then pulled the geotag data off the pictures, and then put them on a Google map. And so people who took pictures of their weed and they geotagged it ended up on there. Hilarious, too. Could I take this and retrofit Pushpin? He actually moved that into Recon NG, which is an amazing framework for doing recon, in case anybody's curious. Pulling all this together in Python, I actually did take it and added the ability to parse out Kismet data. It never went anywhere because then he pushed all that stuff into Recon NG, but whatever. You could do all kinds of stuff with this. So, there's lots of Python I didn't cover. As I said, this was not going to take 4 hours. I'm not sure what they were smoking. More input, output, lots of ways to do things. Tons of XML parsers. Error handling is a big one. Sorry about that. And that's just my worldview. Don't look to go home and do a Python project. Find a project you need to do, and then do it in Python. Find a project you need to do, then do it in Bash. C#. In my experience, it's been hard to learn a language for just learning a language's sake. Go find a fun project. And then do it in Python. Pick an IDE. I'm just going to tell you from experience, typing Python in VI sucks. Especially if you want to do something with data sets. It's horrible. I mean, give it a whack sometime. That's good programming advice. Here's some life advice. That's all I got, kids.
Oh wait, hey, put the back up.
all right.
Put the back.
He was actually one of my favorite comedians. And then I was sitting at my desk one day going like, I haven't heard any new stuff from this guy. And I looked it up and he died in 2012. I'm like, well, that would explain why I didn't know this guy. He is hilarious.
It was just a possibility.
Hey, Tupac had 17 albums after he died. Ron Shaw could at least put out one.
There you go. You have a mission now in life. All that spare time.
All that spare time.